Hi, so today we're going to talk about the movie Ulan. The plot itself was fantastic. Actually, I wouldn't call this much of your typical love story. Ulan is a story that follows a young girl named Maya. Maya is a person who is helpless romantic. She grew up with the notion of a love that would be eternal, love that would conquer everything. Maya always thought that she would find someone who would give her that kind of love. But as we watch the movie, we see that she has experienced one heartbreak after another. Nadine Lustre did a wonderful job. She made Maya so relatable, so natural, so authentic. And then come Carlo Aquino, who complemented that authenticity as well. Maya grew up with the belief to fear rain. Rain is something bad. You want to avoid the rain at all costs.
Huwag kang maglalaro sa ulan, magkakasipil ka.
Then, as we walk through the movie, we can see her relationship with rain change. She learns to embrace it. Rain was a symbol of how Maya saw love. Another thing to note on Maya's character is her wardrobe. It really complements her personality in a sense that she's often seen wearing dresses that kind of stand out of the scene, especially at the wedding scene, where she was the only one wearing blue and then everyone was wearing like some shade of pink or white or cream. It just gives more contrast. While everyone was having their happily ever after, she was bitter, she was sad, but that didn't stop her from finding potentially another true love. Okay, moving on. Personally, my favorite character is Peter.
Ako rin may sana.
Ano yung sana mo?
Sana lang mapuno ng pagmamahal yung mundo.
He was the sweetest guy. Mapapasana all ka na lang din sa kanya. Maliban yung plot twist sa bandang dulo ha. The fact that even I, the audience, was also attracted and drawn towards Peter, that just proves how successful and how good the director of the movie was. I think the fact that the whole story was through the lens or through the eyes of Maya just shows how much the plot revolves around the belief of her self-growth. Aside from the characters, the acting, and the relationships, I appreciated the non-linear narrative. Gave us more background of who she is, what she's been through, and it allows us to empathize with her more, especially the parallelisms between her present age and her past, and then they would mirror similar events that occurred. Aside from the mirroring, I also appreciated the multiple metaphorical, allegorical, and poetry of the whole story. Example here, of course, was the rain itself. Rain was a symbolism of how Maya perceived love. It was a mentor to her. It was something she feared, and then throughout the movie, it was something she learned how to love. I could go on forever about the color grading of this film. It was so pleasing to the eye. It was easy to watch. It's a visual dessert. It was visually stunning, and specifically I would like to commend the scene with the dust. Now that scene was really good because imagine how hard it was to capture tiny particles. You have to have a really good, I think, camera and technique of your craft in cinematography. If you are into cinematography, then I highly recommend this film. They use simple elements in their narrative or in their depiction, which even I as a novice would film and cinematography, I would say it was well executed. There were scenes that incorporated the rule of thirds, and the transition of scenes were easy. They utilized fading that were just the right amount. What aspect I would have appreciated more if they would worked on it, if we had more scenes of Peter's point of view. Love is it's a two-person thing. It's self-growth for the other person and also your partner. So it would have been nice if they could have balanced out Peter and Maya's self-growth. But I also understand why they focused more on Maya, because in the end Peter dies. How I would say this film is really well executed. It was just the right amount of bitter and sweet. And that's how I would really call this movie. It was bittersweet, especially the ending, which, by the way, was a great metaphor with how Maya has grown to love herself. One of the takeaways I had with this film is that you don't have to be afraid of opening your heart. Okay, so that's all. Thank you. Merry Christmas!